I would like to go on record to point out that in my Xbox Game Pass video, I was right about a lot of stuff.
You guys, I'm like really smart now. You don't even know.
I was right when I said that Starfield would be an incredibly powerful force on Game Pass, even though I didn't necessarily think it would be an exclusive, so half right.
Partial credit!
And I stand by my release window. You can't tell me that game isn't getting delayed.
I am delayed long time.
And I was right to say that Xbox is going to stream cloud gaming directly to its consoles, as they plan to do this holiday season.
I am the smartest man alive!
Now, none of this really has anything to do with what I'm talking about today, but at the beginning of that video, I mentioned how the announcement of the Xbox One was really bad. Like, let's completely destroy a console generation's worth of goodwill and damage our reputation that'll take years to rebuild and significantly reduce market share and stumble massively in sales. Bad.
Well, that's fucking not good.
See? Well, I have some bad news for all you time travelers who haven't experienced this yet. The first year of the Xbox One is also pretty garbage. Now, we all know that people tend to buy the console that has the games they want to play on it. Some of these games are available on multiple platforms and even multiple generations, while others are only on one specific machine. These are called exclusives.
Slow down! Hold on, Professor!
Now, I only mention this because Xbox didn't really have any of these exclusive games. But no, that's not true. They had Rise, Son of Rome, and Forza Motorsport. Cool. They had a lot of third-party games in the Xbox 360 library, but you're not going to buy a whole new console to play all of your old games. So yeah, a pretty miserable first year. But there was something looming on the horizon. A game that could turn things around. A game that could reinvigorate a sluggish Xbox brand. A game that people actually wanted to play. Who is it? Who is it?
Who is it?
It's Sunset Overdrive.
Cover mechanic, right?
It was developed by an industry powerhouse, the studio behind Ratchet & Clank, Insomniac Games. Now, Insomniac usually developed games for the PlayStation, but they wanted to completely own the IP outright, and Microsoft was the only publisher who let them do that. So here we have a lone outlier in their library, made even more curious by the fact that Sony now owns Insomniac. Either way, what they made is a beautiful, creative, interesting, unique, colorful, loud, original, kick-ass, rock and roll, bang your head against the wall, Awsomepocalypse of a game. Sunset Overdrive is set in beautiful post-apocalyptic Sunset City after an evil corporation released their new energy drink, Overcharge. Naturally, it turns everyone who drinks it into monsters.
Oh yes, of course. How very, very awful.
So it's your job to help the survivors of the city with clearing out the OD or the many, many, many fetch quests. Basically, you just shoot everything. The main character is infinitely customizable, from logical presets to fever dream fantasy.
What?
You look like Mary Poppins.
Is he cool?
Hell yeah, he's cool.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
The humor is on point and hilariously meta, going so far as talking directly to the player or even narrating their moves.
So keep moving and killing! Stay with me, this is almost over.
The character designs and art style are cartoony, fun, and colorful, and the voice acting is diverse and well done. But all of that is not the magic of this game. No. What makes this game special was its traversal mechanics.
Nerd!
Fed up with the stay behind cover, pop out and shoot mechanics that have become the norm of the time, Insomniac wanted movement. As such, there is no cover in Sunset Overdrive. You move by bouncing, dashing, jumping, wall running, swinging, and grinding around the map. In fact, walking is the slowest and least efficient way to do anything, and a surefire way to get eaten. By encouraging constant movement, the player develops a fluid style that makes it incredibly easy to pull off impressive moves. It's basically parkour the game.
Parkour!
No, wait, that's Mirror's Edge. It's basically rock and roll parkour the game.
Parkour! 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 Parkour!
It made this game stand out, albeit in a field of pretty short competition. And Xbox knew this, basically putting all of its weight behind it. I mean, one of the reasons why Microsoft allowed Insomniac to retain ownership of the IP in the first place was because Xbox wanted to work with them so badly. This went so far as Xbox releasing a special edition Xbox One, its very first, an all-white console. And I'm not ashamed to say that Sunset Overdrive was a big part of why I was an early Xbox One adopter.
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Unfortunately, the fun, kick-ass, groovy good times didn't last. At least not on Xbox. Insomniac was soon making games again for PlayStation, like Ratchet & Clank. But the final nail in the Xbox-Insomniac relationship coffin was swinging in.
No pressure, right?
When Spider-Man was announced, naturally there was some concern. How could this possibly live up to the skyscraper heights of the glory that which came before PS2's Spider-Man 2? There's no way it'll feel as smooth, they said. Spider-Man was all about the swinging. Can Insomniac pull it off? This will be the greatest blunder of the 21st century.
It is my professional opinion that now is the time to panic.
Okay, maybe it wasn't that dramatic, but naturally people were curious on how Insomniac were going to do this. But I wasn't, because I played Sunset Overdrive, a game that was built from the ground up to make unique movement fun and exciting. Spider-Man was in good hands. That turned out to be true. PS4's Spider-Man is without a doubt the best iteration of the web-slinger in gaming. And as with Sunset, Spider-Man was the game that made me buy a PS4. So basically, Insomniac Games makes me buy consoles.
Shut up, baby, I know it.
And as I tend to in these videos, I'd like to opine about a sequel that will never be. It's true, at least for Xbox. Insomniac is now a subsidiary of Sony Game Studios, and while Insomniac still retains the rights to the IP, they've said there isn't much in the way of progress for another game. The name has been registered with Sony, but that's about it. Insomniac were busy with other projects like Miles Morales and Ratchet & Clank, and now they're working on Spider-Man 2. Luckily, Sunset Overdrive is still on Xbox. It's on Game Pass, in fact. So if you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. If anything, to just see the precursor mechanics that evolved into Spider-Man. And to take the edge off waiting for Spider-Man 2.